All right. Let's do this. Let's see the end of this mission here. I'm really excited about this whole mission, but I'm really, yeah, I know, no beard. I'm really sick of waking up at 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, I'm a little over it. Yeah, a little over it. But here, let's pick up the coverage and go from there. I gotta get on the screen. There we go. Oh, there's my alarm. No.
Say the Inspiration 4 crew that isn't currently on
Let's
board
the
Polaris Dawn capsule. So Jared also commanded the Inspiration 4 crew as well as our current Polaris Dawn mission. And in fact, this capsule is the same one that the Inspiration 4 crew flew in as well. So we heard from the experts. Re-entry is interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool to hear, you know, their different, each one had a different insight. Haley was, you know, this was the more dynamic portion that she was maybe a little bit more worried about. And Chris talking about how like the Draco engines go silent.
Yeah.
Just love hearing the thoughts from that experience.
Yeah. Now, very similar to the Inspiration 4 crew, the Polaris Dawn crew did a ton of research.
This one going to Polaris? Oh, no, that's where it just came from. New Year, what's happening? Grumpthius, what's going on? Polaris Dawn is a privately funded mission on orbit from SpaceX. So it's not like a NASA mission, not affiliated with NASA in any way. And the four crew on board have been up there for about a week. We conducted the first commercial extravehicular activity, going outside the vehicle, going to new heights. We went up to about 900 miles. And yeah, there they are. That's not a live picture though. And they're not going to come back down. The Dragon capsule is over the Pacific right now.
Discovery,
Celtic, 46 months. Were you sleeping? What? Yeah. Yeah, that's generally what people do at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So let's see, see what we got.
Whole bunch of different experiments measuring our different veins. We've been measuring our bladder. We've been measuring our kidneys and liver and a lot of different pieces of the body. So it's been really interesting, and we're excited to see what we learn from all the data.
This was created by the U.S. Air Force Academy, which is near and dear to my heart. I was assigned there many moons ago as one of the commanders of the cadets. And what these cadets have created is a casing that holds different plants, and we've been imaging these plants on a daily basis to see what the impact of zero gravity is on this plant. One of the big concerns is the fluid shift up here at zero gravity. We can really feel the effect as soon as we were on orbit, and you can kind of see it in our faces. So one of the concerns with long-duration space flight is to be able to triage in case of an emergency. And one of the first basic steps is airway assessment. So we volunteered to do some imaging of our airway. We did this experiment before flight, during flight, and then we'll do it post-flight. And what this requires is us to numb up the nasal passage and then insert this endoscopic camera all the way through the nasal passage and back of the throat to take these different images. And then post-flight, we'll be able to assess what happened to the airway passage as that fluid shifts.
This is a Tempest Pro, also called our ambulance in a box. So, if you believe in SpaceX's vision of making life multiplanetary, that we're going to have thousands of starships in space someday, tens of thousands of people, we're on Mars, and we're exploring our solar system, it's pretty cool. But those are some pretty long journeys, and hospitals aren't very close by. So we have to be able to bring diagnostic tools into space with us, and then be able to beam that information back home to the flight surgeons. So just yesterday, we hooked up all sorts of cables to this, so blood pressure, SpO2, respiration, EKG leads, and basically we're able to capture a number of vital signs and test it out. And then today, we actually did a full-blown medical simulation of what could be a very likely medical situation that could develop after an EVA, and then was able to beam a lot of this information home via Starlink to the flight surgeons in mission control. So I really am excited about it because it's this kind of technology that's going to be needed, to kind of further humankind's ambitions to explore among the stars.
We've been collecting data kind of every day, looking at the changes in our vision over time in space. We also have an experiment from CU Boulder that we did shortly after arriving on orbit, where you actually put a contact lens into your eye to monitor the pressure change over time. And there's a picture of Jared. He has the contact lens in his eye that's sending pressure data over 12, 24 hours to a sensor. But he really looked like a rogue space pirate with his eye patch kind of covering it, so he didn't have to have some vision changes from that lens. But it was quite a look up here for the space pirate.
Not really.
So
that was from the science. That was their science update that they gave 2 days ago. Admit, do smells linger longer in zero gravity? No, the HVAC systems on the capsule are really filtering out everything. How the heck do you have an endoscope at 4Gs? No comment. Anyway, so might not be able to tell you. Someone on a huge historic flight watches you when he can. I might have a 2 in the number. Anyways, so might be able to not tell you someone on a huge historic flight watches you when he can. Might have a 2 in the numbers. It is way too early. It's way too early to speak in riddles like that, man. All right. That's cool. Whoever it is, that's awesome. I'm sure it's great. Dude, I am not here. My brain is like, why are you awake now?
And all 4 astronauts on board participated in the spacewalk. It was Sarah.
SpaceX Dragon. Our tablets are secure, restraints are tightened, and our visors are down.
All right.
SpaceX copies for crew entry prep.
All right, good news there. That was Jared letting us know that their tablets are secured and the visors are down, which then creates that complete system for the spacesuit for them to basically be ready for the more dynamic parts of the reentry phase, which is coming up soon. We are about 7 minutes away from the anticipated loss of signal. But getting back to the incredible spacewalk that Sarah and Jared and Kid and Anna performed, it was actually Sarah and Jared that took turns actually exiting the spacecraft while Kid and Anna supported from the inside. Overall, the spacewalk lasted 1 hour and 46 minutes from the time that the cabin air was vented to when it was repressurized once again. So it was incredible, and the first commercial spacewalk is certainly a moment to remember. So now some Dragon facts in terms of the Dragon capsule overall. Like I said earlier, it's designed from the beginning to enable human spaceflight, even though we started just with cargo spaceflight. It can carry up to 7 passengers, but for today, we've got 4 crew members on board, and it is the first private spacecraft to take humans to the International Space Station. It's also the first private spacecraft to take an all-civilian crew to orbit, and that was this exact Dragon capsule, Dragon Resilience, that, of course, was the inspiration for mission. This Dragon mission, this Polaris Dawn Dragon mission flew further than any Dragon to date and reached the highest Earth orbit ever flown with an apogee of 1,408.1 kilometers. Dragon has performed 47 total launches, including Polaris Dawn, 14 crew missions, including Polaris, 5 of those being private astronaut missions and 9 being NASA missions. We've had 42 visits to the International Space Station, 25 missions utilizing a reflown or a refurbished Dragon capsule, including Polaris Dawn. And
Copy that, SpaceX. We're tracking the same. Talk to you soon.
I don't know how you're going to fit 7 people in there, but hey, this would it be.
And we just heard some comms from the core to the crew, letting them know we're just about 5 minutes away from that blackout period, which is very, very exciting. That means that the crew is almost going to get through the portion of passing through the atmosphere, re-entering the atmosphere, coming back down to Earth. And ironically, today...
So just in case you went live with me and you haven't been watching it, they already did the deorbit burn. The nose cone's already closed. And we should be coming up on re-entry here in a second. Rook reported a little bit ago, right when we started, that their helmets are down. The visors are closed. So yeah, should be getting ready. Come on.
All right, coming back was actually mine. I loved hitting the atmosphere and the dynamics of it and having the G load, come on quick, and you're like, okay, gravity's heavy.
Yeah.
I
much preferred launch over splashdown. But yeah, because we were in space for 3 days, and this is something I didn't think about beforehand, but whenever we started entering the atmosphere and started feeling the gravity again, I remember saying out loud, oh my gosh, this is so intense. How many G's are we at? And Jared said 0.3.
I know.
So we were at a third of Earth gravity. And I was like, how are we gonna get to 4.5? But you just get through it.
Yeah, just keep breathing, right?
And then you just pray the parachutes will open. And then whenever they do, and then you hear from SpaceX 4 healthy mains, I remember screaming, thank God.
Well, that's the most intense, when they talk about the Dragon being autonomous and stuff, on ascend going up, if the launch escape system will probably catch an error before Jared and I could react.
Right.
We could do stuff, but you've got that. But coming back,
you can't abort coming back.
You can't. You can't. But the most intense moment, I think, for the commander and the pilot is making sure that the drogues and the mains come out, because we have a short window where we can manually fire them if they don't. And I just remember, we're counting down, and then I'm like, green, yellow, and if I'd gotten to red, then that wouldn't have been good. But every time green happened, the pyros went, and Jared and I were just like, there's the drogues. And we could see it on our monitor. I don't know if you could, but we're like, oh, yes, drogues. And then we go through.
I had to rip off my iPad to hand it to you so you could take a picture.
Once we got off, because once we got off the 4 healthy mains, Jared was like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, and then it was like, at that point, it was so peaceful, because re-entry was very dynamic. It was the G-forces were so intense. It was more shaky than launch was. And then when the parachutes deploy, they lift you up and shake you all around. And then after they're out, then you're just kind of falling down. I remember it sounded like a summer breeze outside, and we were like in 1G and just drifting down. And then we hit the water. We knew it. It was.
Well, that was one thing too. When you said you're looking at the screens, you and I had a pretty good view, Haley, of we could actually look out the windows at that point. And I remember seeing the Dragon capsule reorient, and as it's making those S curves to the atmosphere and seeing the clouds move very dynamically. And
see, I love that. That, to me, hearing the Dracos firing and it's like as we're doing these giant S curves.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
Yeah, it's like ingrained in my memory. And I remember just being there and being like, this is so cool. Yeah. And just the technology of what SpaceX has done, and being able to, have a capsule that will dial itself in and slow down down, your descent, it's just amazing. Such a great experience. But splashdown was awesome because when we hit the water, you're just like, we did it.
It was a very emotional moment, more than I expected.
I love what Dr. Proctor said there.
Dr. Proctor
did it.
Yeah. I literally love seeing all the reactions because, you know, we don't get to, you know, experience these events with them. And every single one is very unique to each person's experience. And I love that all three of them have just like a different view of how each event went.
Yeah, it's so great to be able to hear their reactions. And I look forward to hearing the Polaris Dawn crew's reactions once they get back on Earth and share their experience with us. Now, the Polaris Dawn crew, we are coming up to our anticipated loss of signal. This is the point in time in which the amount of plasma building up on the exterior of the vehicle becomes significant and that we are unable to command the vehicle or receive telemetry or communicate with the crew. So this happens every time a Dragon capsule comes back through the Earth's atmosphere, and we're anticipating about a 7-minute loss of signal for today's re-entry.
Mm-hmm. Why did they close the nose cone so close to re-entry? What if it fails to close? They can manually drive it closed, and why do they choose to do it? That's basically just because that's how they've done it in the past. That assures that's the thrusters on Dragon that they're using for deorbit are the forward-facing thrusters. So here, let me show you. If we go to SpaceX, right? I mean, SpaceX Twitter account's been going off lately. Because I'm not going to say SpaceX account. We'll just say the SpaceX Twitter account and call it a day. You can see them right there. See 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Those are your deorbit thrusters. Those are your orbital maneuvering thrusters. Those are the ones they use to deorbit. The nose cone, you can't do that with the nose cone closed. And that's what I mean. Like in the past missions have been, you do it this way because you have to deorbit first. Now, in terms of the hatch, if it automatically doesn't close, they can drive it. They can manually drive it. If I had to guess, this is just a huge guess. Don't know if I'm right or wrong here. If I had to guess, they can jettison. They could manually detach it. If I had to guess, that's usually when you have something that's deployable like this in space, it has some type of like tertiary separation system, because yeah, re-entering with that thing will basically, if you re-entered with the thing open, it would, yeah, you'd lose it. Yeah. Dang, Celtic. That's freaking sweet, dude. I'm freaking flattered. That's awesome. Anyway, there were some pictures. They had some pictures right at the beginning of the mission when they did the boosting burn. I don't want to talk too much here because, yeah, they're going to be in plasma blackout. But, yeah, there they are. See? Yeah. That's why they wait until the very end. It's because of the thrusters. That's the biggest reason. That actually is pretty much the only reason. I was gonna say that that's just what they've done in the past, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's amazing. Notice how they're modulating the thrusters. They do that for temperature purposes, because we all know what happens when you exceed duty cycle on pressure-fed hypergolic thrusters. We all know what happens there. Everybody's familiar with pulse width modulation now. We all know what happens when you don't get that right. Notice how the SpaceX thrusters are far away from each other, so they don't overheat. It's not a bad design, guys. It really isn't. But also, hey man, if everybody else gets the meme, I get to meme too. Is Polaris still in the same orbit? Pontius, it's below it right now for the deorbit burn, but most of the Polaris Dawn mission was in the same inclination, but in a much higher orbit, believe it or not. Well, asterisk next to that much higher orbit. If you want, I know it's early, if you want me to nerd out here for a second. So Polaris was in an eccentric orbit with its perigee or lowest point at 190 kilometers and its highest point up to I'm shutting up.
This you can see on your screen.
This is the WB-57. The highest point was 1,400 kilometers. Here's a shot from the WB-57, which is over Florida, north 245650, west 8239 at 19,200 feet. Imaging the Polaris Dawn capsule coming through re-entry.
This thermal view in particular is really cool because you can see the trail behind it.
The same altitude.
Oh, that is so awesome. There's 4 humans inside of that capsule right now.
That's right. The ISS is right. You are, Ken. What a shot! You can see the heat shield. The ISS is 400 kilometers circular at 51.6.
Basically, plasma field around it prohibits
ablative retro propulsion. Yes.
So this anticipated
it's not retro
blackout
propulsion.
period lasts about 7 minutes. So
still.
We should be coming out of it here in about the next minute or so. We will probably start to hear the SpaceX core begin to reach out to the Dragon capsule, just trying to hail them, or we might even hear from the Polaris Dawn crew first. Oh, that's an incredible view from the recovery ship stationed out in the water.
That is a sight to see for the people that are watching this live.
Look at the capsule change direction.
It's not a comet. It is just the Polaris Dawn crew coming back to Earth. Wow, that is an amazing view.
Once again, we expect this blackout period to end in about a minute. Another view of the
Dragon SpaceX comm check.
I can have you loud and clear. Help me, SpaceX.
All right.
Loud and clear, Jared. Expect automated chute deployment.
Incredible views, incredible comms. We have regained communications with the Polaris Dawn crew. This is a drone circling the recovery vessel. And that little white dot, I should start, the big white dot on the right, obviously the moon, the little white dot there in the center of your screen is the Dragon Resilience vehicle making its way, its final few kilometers back down to planet Earth after spending 5 days in orbit.
All right.
Just some epic views tonight.
Should be getting some drogue deployments here very soon.
Getting excited. We've confirmed that we have comms with the crew.
This is space.
Dragon
I'm in space.
SpaceX, GPS converged. Expect nominal altitude for drogue chute deploy.
Copy that, SpaceX. We show the same and tracking.
And the crew is still traveling very quickly right now as they're coming back through the Earth's atmosphere. But as you heard, the drogue chutes should be deploying here shortly, and that's going to slow them down significantly.
Yeah, we expect those to deploy in about 90 seconds. And as we heard in those comms, it's triggered by GPS. So the Dragon capsule using that GPS will automatically know exactly when to deploy it, and that happens around 40 kilometers.
Come on. Come on.
Once the drogue parachutes deploy, about a minute after that, we'll see the main parachutes.
And it's pretty incredible that we only...
Seat rotation.
Rotation now underway. This helps put the crew in a more ergonomic position in anticipation of splashdown.
Brace for drogue window.
Here we go.
Copy, we're bracing.
Should
it's a little.
See
it's
those
a little
chutes
rowdy.
deploy here
Look at
shortly.
Hands. It's getting a little rowdy.
And you can see the crew bracing
as instructed
for the change in velocity.
Come on.
You can standing by for deployment of the drogue parachutes.
On there. You can see the
These will
pulsating?
help bring the vehicle down from about 350 miles per hour when they deploy.
See them?
Down to about 119 miles per hour when the main parachutes deploy.
There it is.
There we can see that the drogue chutes have.
Come on, don't do this.
It's a great thermal image. And that view is from the actual basin where those drogue parachutes are located.
Dragon SpaceX visual on 2 healthy drogues.
Okay, the drogues are a pilot chute that's going to slow
Copy that, SpaceX. We show the same.
Their pilot
These drogue parachutes help to stabilize the Dragon capsule.
What she said.
And get it into the right orientation before those main parachutes pop out, as well as providing that initial deceleration.
This is such a great thermal shot of the Dragon capsule. You can see it turning a little bit with the drogue parachutes. And there are the 4 main chutes now deployed. They'll slowly open up to their full deployment here in just a few seconds.
We got 3. We got 4.
Incredible views of the Polaris Dawn crew returning to Earth after 5 days in Earth's orbit. The crowd here at Mission Control in Hawthorne cheering.
4 names and descent rate nominal.
Yep. All right, she's good. I was a little worried about that guy
It's a
for a second.
beautiful sight to see.
SpaceX, we show the same. 1,000.
Copy 1,000.
Oh, what a crisp
Beautiful
shot
sight to
here.
see
Look
those
at that,
4
man.
healthy main parachutes.
So great.
So to be 100% real, they only need 3, but 4 is the fourth one is just quadruple redundant, or well, it's just a redundancy in case one of them goes. So that one taking a second on frill is not a big deal. They could land on 3. That's per NASA's safety requirements.
So we should start to.
This, of course, is not a NASA mission, but we got 4 good mains, man. That's huge. That's the big critical step in the mission right there.
Altitude as they descend to the ocean's surface.
Now it's
we can
nice
see the
and smooth
Polaris
ride
Dawn
here.
crew nestled in their seats there on the left-hand side of your screen
Can it do it
as
with
they
2?
anticipate their splashdown.
Probably not.
Copy 6.
You
1,500
can see the
feet.
difference in velocity. This is a lot gentler than just a few minutes ago. The Dragon is coming back down to Earth.
Absolutely. These main parachutes deploy at about 119 miles per hour and help slow the Dragon capsule down to about 15 miles per hour when it makes contact with the ocean.
You can also see that the capsule is now
1,200 feet.
The capsule is now stabilized. It's no longer spinning like we saw it with the drogue parachutes.
Are they landing? Yeah. Yeah, man.
$200, we're bracing.
Copy 200 embraced.
600 feet.
Racing for splashdown.
That will be the final call we hear from Jared until contact with the ocean surface.
Fifth day, Jens. Tuesday to Saturday. Well,
Standing by for
Wednesday
a
to
splashdown of
Sunday,
the
if we
Polaris
wanna be
Dawn
real
crew.
technical.
And there you can see. As you can see on your screen, and by the cheers behind us, the Polaris Dawn crew has successfully splashed down.
Welcome back to planet Earth, Polaris.
She's good.
SpaceX recovery team.
SpaceX's passive stabilization system did its thing there. So a lot of people don't know when Dragon goes to take a dunk in the water, there's the parachute compartment. The parachute compartment on Dragon is actually super low. You'll see it here during recovery operations. It's full of water. Watch. There's a hatch. It's below the main door when they go to recover Dragon. And what it does is when the capsule dunks in the water, it fills up, right? It fills up with salt water. Don't worry, it's waterproof, obviously, right? And did you see that Dragon tried to tip over? And then it just came right back up. It came right back upright. Because that compartment, when it filled up with water, the water sloshed back and turned the capsule upright. It's a passive stabilization system that SpaceX uses to make sure that Dragon is in the upright condition. Stable 1 is what it's called. You should see the recovery ships, little recovery vessels going that way here in a second. But anyway, welcome
that
to
call out that
Dawn.
we heard
Amazing.
earlier, confirmation of what I had said a little bit prior to in terms of that stable configuration. That code 1 call out is the reflection of the crew's reporting of that landing position.
Yep, stable 2 would be if the capsule was on its side, I think.
Team is a little ways away from the splashdown location, obviously to ensure their safety, as well as the safety of the Polaris Dawn crew. So it takes a little while for the large recovery vessel to make its way over to the Dragon capsule.
I mean, they're going to get sloshed up a little bit, Patos. Like, you know, you really don't want... everything on there is really there to minimize seawater intrusion. I mean, first and foremost, it's there as a heat shield. But you'll see these panels on the sides and stuff, they get pretty sloshed with water. You can see that it gets inundated. When they go to recover this thing, like in a second here, I'm wondering why it's taking so long for the recovery ships to get moving, but we'll see. Why do they have such a short EVA time? They were only there to really test out little bits of the suit, 415. Dragon can only stay depressurized. It's a one-try thing, guys. Like, they jury-rigged this thing to do that. There's a pallet underneath the seats that has the extra consumables on board. Somebody asked, you know, when they depressurized it, was it an open-loop system? Yes, it is. I didn't know the answer to that. I had to go digging for it. That's a hot capsule. Are the fish okay? I'm pretty sure, Drum, they're more confused than anything at this point. But yeah, they can only EVA for a certain amount of time. There's the recovery vessels.
And they are very fast, as you can see.
SpaceX, on behalf of the entire team of SpaceX, welcome home. We have pulled go for recovery personnel to approach. Expect personnel alongside in approximately 1 minute.
Yep. So what they're going to do here first...
Copy that, SpaceX, and Polaris Dawn, we are mission complete. Thanks for all the big help pulling this mission together.
Awesome.
Now, we did see a jet ski.
So what they're going to do first is go sniffing around the capsule. Not... Oh, there's a drone out there. Dude, look at the light. That's awesome. They're going to go sniffing around the capsule. That's what those guys on the jet ski are for. Either that or they're getting parachute rigging. I'm not 100% sure. We'd have to see. There's the locator light. And then those are the actual windows, right? On the capsule. They're going to go sniffing around the capsule. What they're going to go sniffing for is if there's any thruster leaks. Because the thrusters, the nitrogen tetroxide monomethyl hydrazine thrusters that we saw firing during re-entry there for a second, those are, that's very toxic to humans. And I just want to make sure that they don't have a leak anywhere. Beautiful shot of that capsule. Beautiful shot. See what I mean? See, the outside gets a little charred and a little sloshed on. It's not the best thing for it, Patos, but it's designed to withstand it. It's all designed to be watertight. You don't want salt water getting in your capsule. Not a good idea.
I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've had these views on our recovery webcasts. So it's pretty cool to see.
What would they do if there was a leak? It's very unlikely that there would be a leak in the pressure vessel, Slubman, but I'm sure there's an emergency egress procedure to get around that. A little sloshy out there tonight. Okay. Second rib is out, or the first rib is out there. Second one is over there recovering the parachutes.
So the fast boat that is closest to the...
It looks like we got some bioluminescent algae going on here. Either that or it's just the lights. But that is some deep blue Florida seawater right there. First and second boats also have dual trained, very good medical personnel on board. Yep.
Closer. And
yeah, see that guy's got a gas mask on?
Respirators on. This helps ensure that if there are any lingering vapors, that they will not be exposed to those.
So there's that passive stabilization system. That's where the main chutes are. And then the mortars for the drogues are right up there. He's sniffing around that. Guy's sniffing around the nose cone vent right there. That's the passive nose cone vent up there. Because that's where those deorbit thrusters are. See, sticking the sniffer up there. Once again, they're sniffing for traces of the gases that come out of the thrusters. The gases that come out of the thrusters can kill you. But the reason why we use it, I know what people are going to say, why the hell are we using it then if it's bad for you? It's really good at being stored up there for long periods of time. There's the parachute compartment, and see, it's full of water. Awesome. Those the gas thrusters that they use is really, really good. They're really good at being stored up there for a long time. Those chemicals don't decompose, so you could just keep them up there kind of indefinitely. They could stay up there for years. With an MMHNTO system, it'll be fine. But you just got to make sure you do your due diligence. One of the Apollo-Soyuz test project mission, they had problems with, I think it was ASTP. They had problems with MMH, and the astronauts got sick. So, yeah, you don't want any of that. Once the sniffer's good, they'll start getting at it. There's another parachute that's kind of stuck down there. You can see it.
It is not a giant squid. I love how there are lights on these boats. Maybe not there. Actually, I take that back. I don't think it's lights on the boats. I think it's lights with some of...
Dragon SpaceX, hypergol sweeps, and unfired ordnance checks nominal. Rigging in progress, approximately 5 minutes until capsule lift. Stand by for PMC.
Okay.
Copy that. 5 minutes for capsule lift, and glad all the checkouts are good.
There's the recovery ship,
all
main
right,
recovery vessel
there,
coming over there.
Letting us know, and we can see that the crew members have...
Now, what these folks are doing here is detaching the parachute rigging.
A little bit more efficiently. Also heard that the crew will have their...
Dragon SpaceX for PMC.
PMC standing for Private Medical Conference, so this is an opportunity.
They're talking to the doctors just to make sure that they came through reentry okay. Astronauts do that all the time coming back from space. It's the first thing you do. Talk to your doctor. If you or a loved one has gone through entry, descent, and landing, talk to your doctor. Reentry. Talk to your doctor about reentry. That's what they're doing. Anyway, that was a joke.
So that PMC Private Medical Conference, that's just an opportunity for the crew to chat with the flight surgeon, check in, make sure everybody's feeling good. So it sounds like the crew is on board to have that occur in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
Tiger, I'm pretty
the
sure it
recovery
was
teams
ASTP,
here
yeah.
on your screen scurrying. Oh, there, our first view of the individual on top of the capsule. I have said this in many splashdown web.
Side effects may include adrenaline rushing, high heart rate.
Job. I have so much admiration and respect for the people
All right,
that
so
can.
check this out, guys. You see there's a patch right there where the side windows would have been. The reason why the side windows aren't on Dragon is because plasma really likes to find its way right here. You can tell because of the way it is. See that big charm mark that goes by where the window would be? SpaceX was supposed to have 4 windows on Dragon, but they decided to tape over the windows with they sealed them up with metal because look, see the plasma that goes through there between the nacelles? It would have scorched the window. Yeah, NASA and SpaceX figured that one out. I said tape over, Sophie. I'm not sure if there's the window is still behind it. I'd have to go talk to one of my buddies. But it's not there. Whatever it is, dude, taped over, there's a filler in there. Holy shave face, hey. Yeah, I was eating food today, and it got in my beard, and then I got sick of it because it got in the way of me consuming a very good piece of food. That person's gonna jump off. Watch. So I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna eat my food," and that's literally how that played out. It got in the way. Oh no. Yeah. Been there, done that. Yep. I always say this, dude. See how blue that water is, man? I tell you, the ocean. This is down in Florida, or off the coast of Florida, I should say. The ocean where I live don't look like that. The ocean where I live is green. It's like seafoam green.
So cool to see this happening live with
like
the various recovery team members working to install the straps and the rigging that is necessary in order to safely lift the Dragon capsule out of the water. I want to give a special shout out to the SpaceX weather team and the recovery team for unlocking this location and adding it to our sites of availability for Dragon recovery opportunities and options, because as we saw trying to launch this mission when we were just kidding. Fake Quindar. When we were trying to launch this, weather was really problematic, and it wasn't just the weather at the launch site, which is what most people think of.
Dragon ground is no longer privatized.
Copy that, SpaceX.
Yeah, the weather at the launch site is what most people think of, but when we have a shorter duration, basically free flyer type mission like this, where the Dragon capsule is only in orbit for a few days, not only do we have to look at the immediate weather around the launch site and the weather during the ascent abort phases like we always do, but at the time of launch, we also have to be really confident that there will be good weather in at least a couple of landing locations available to us at the time of launch. And that wasn't an option for any of our existing sites. And the recovery team and the weather team worked really hard to identify this new location, and just look how calm the waters are. Wow.
It was perfect.
So, that was an excellent explanation by Kate, but she didn't say where they are. They're down off Key West. This is, I believe they're near Dry Tortugas National Park, if I'm remembering that right. I remember reading that somewhere. That's either where they are, or that's one of the sites they could have chosen.
There in Florida, where typically,
How far off the coast? Probably 40, 50 miles is if I had to guess.
Wait out weather if we need to. For a mission like the free flyer, like you said, that's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
We don't have as much cargo space to keep, food and supplies.
It is near Dry Tortugas? That's cool.
Of the mission, obviously, there's some extra in there in case they did need to stay out in space, but we got some excellent weather for this. And a big shout out to Starlink. We've got this view here brought to you by Starlink, and we're now seeing the recovery vessel getting closer and closer to the Dragon capsule. This is where the Dragon capsule is going to be lifted out of the water onto this recovery vessel.
A great shot of the helicopter pad there on top. That's pretty cool.
So a helicopter is going to come once the crew is on board, once the capsule is on board, the crew's on board, and has exited the Dragon capsule. A helicopter is going to come land on the recovery vessel and actually fly the crew back to land. That's a lot faster path than waiting on the recovery vessel to get back to land. And that's important to make sure that the crew is safe, healthy, and they can get into, hopefully get some sleep maybe.
Yeah, I did make a note that the crew, while they are on orbit, everything is scheduled, including their sleep periods. And they actually had their wake-up call at 6:25 p.m. Pacific time, or 9:25 p.m. Eastern time. So it's right now almost 1 a.m. Pacific time. So yeah, they've been awake for a while, and they had quite a day, honestly. And I'm sure that they are most excited to see their families again, and also probably pretty excited to get a good night's sleep.
In a bed.
Yeah.
Instead of floating around.
Yeah. Now, if you've recently joined us, unfortunately, you missed quite a bit of action already, but we still have a bit to go. So far, we, as you can see, have had a successful splashdown of the Dragon capsule carrying the Polaris Dawn crew. They splashed down about 12:36 a.m. Pacific time. Unfortunately, I was too excited and I didn't catch the exact splashdown time, but I think it was right around then.
Sleep in the chairs, dark matter, yeah.
And that is now the recovery of the capsule is now underway.
No, they slept in the capsule. You guys, Dragon is a pretty big capsule. It's actually one of the bigger capsules flying. Not a lot of people here. I'll try to balance it, Mutter. Let's see.
Around the capsule that will be used.
That's really tough to balance it, dude.
To lift the Dragon capsule.
But I'll see what we can get.
And onto the recovery vessel.
It's actually a pretty big capsule. Like if you look at the people next to it, it's pretty large. You have a lot of room in there. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's no space shuttle. Shuttle had a ton of room. And even the shuttle didn't really have that much. Shuttle was like the size of a New York apartment.
5 days ago,
you know,
this week has been such a blur.
If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And the shuttle was the big one. The Dragon has a good amount of room in it, but it's not like the most, but it's good enough. Like if there's probably as much room in there as you'd get like in a big SUV or something.
They will then head up to
like a Range Rover or like a Suburban or whatever. There's a good amount of room in that thing. It's a good volume for what it is. Like once again, Dragon's a bigger capsule. The reason why she's a little bulky is because it carries its service module around with it. You know, Dragon doesn't have a jettisonable service module because SpaceX is hell bent on reusability, right? So they're bringing their thrusters back down with them. They're bringing the entire service module back down with them. That's why Dragon has kind of this oblong shape, because it's a crew compartment with a service module shoehorned on the back and then a heat shield. It does carry the trunk, right? The trunk has the solar panels and the radiators, but there's nothing in it. It's hollow.
It was a really kind of a bittersweet time. Like we knew we had just completed all these different milestones. We had done all that research. And I know Polaris Dawn, they have so much more research.
When looking at the landing projection they showed, why did it look like they were splashing down close to the South Pole?
Waiting to come out and then go on to the next thing, right?
I don't know how you could have possibly seen that. You probably saw the shot when they were over New Zealand, Mach. In the SpaceX graphic kind of wasn't that good at showing that they were going around the Earth. It was just a straight line imposed over a circle. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure you looked at it wrong, but that's because the graph is kind of meh.
When we found out we surpassed our $200 million.
Why aren't you streaming on YouTube? Oh, shoot. I knew I forgot something. Hey, HD. I'm tired. I'm tired. I forgot to hit the live button on the tubes. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so tired. Crap. My bad.
Down in the Atlantic. So we were the first crew to cause a sonic boom back over Florida since the shuttle stopped flying.
Yeah, I know. Such a special moment, you know?
Yeah, right.
And
it's
I just
ablative.
Remember
because the capsule has an ablative heat shield, EJ has an ablative beard. It makes sense.
And then working on opening up the side hatch for the first time.
Don't worry, we'll be back streaming on YouTube on Monday.
To welcome us.
Did you miss it?
Home Earthling.
Briggs, you did miss it, but we do have some really, really baller shots from a drone. Look at this. It's freaking sweet, dude.
And the fact that Anna gets to go and have that experience.
And during all of this, she was with our families. She was supporting them, and all of them were
I see a guy on YouTube
mission.
landing rockets in its backyard. How hard could it be?
Is that
drum? Is that Joe Barnard? I know that guy. Joe's cool.
She had trained us to that point. And then Kid was one of the first faces that we saw back on Earth.
Can you rewind it?
There every step of the way.
I'm not 100% sure how well that's going to go with X, but we'll see. Nope. Ron Burgundy says no. It's... Please, Elon, please fix this. It's so bad.
The stretcher. I've been eating
Why
fried
are
chicken,
you giving us a time scrubber if you can't scrub through the video?
I was like, I don't care. I'm so happy.
Elon, please.
I remember Anil coming in and being like, you know, to help us get out of our suit, well, out of our seats, and thinking, I've got this. I've got to be like, you know, this is going to be my Phoenix Rising moment coming off of the spacecraft. What were you thinking when you first got up on the land and, well, it was onto the boat, and the camera's there, and you're standing?
I know. I felt like I wanted to have a good show as well, but the problem I had was that the boat started rocking.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden I'm unsteady, and so I look like this, you know, this kind of elephant who's learning how to walk for the first time. Yeah, I was really excited to be back and to go see everyone and share the story.
DJ
and
streams on YouTube.
I felt great. I felt awesome.
time.
And I looked at you guys coming out too, and you were just strutting your way on to the next section, and then
Space News only news worth watching. I take that as a pretty sincere compliment, Lord Powder. Yep. What I was saying there, but I didn't balance the audio right, was that 50% of the time EJ streams on YouTube every time.
I'm sure that the second
it's
time
a hell of a
around
compliment
Jared
coming from you
will feel
guys.
a little bit
Thank
different. He, you know, had flown on the Inspiration 4 mission, as they were mentioning, and this is a cool view because we can start to see how.
Yeah,
close
Sophie,
the
I think
recovery
we're all.
vessel is
I mean,
to the Dragon
I'll be
capsule.
real with you. I
The
understand
fast
why.
boat there
I understand why
looking to
SpaceX did it. I understand why Elon did it. It
straps
makes
that are
sense.
required
He's
to
got
lift
to
the
he's got to recoup that $44 billion investment somehow. He got to get people on there, which is fine. I get it. I don't blame him for doing that. You know, like why would you go to Google to do this when you have this? What I'm asking for is please. Well, you know,
recovery vessel, and that's where
you want to be the everything app.
hang out
Make
while
this
you're
streaming
playing
service amazing, please.
Oh, wow.
Make it the best streaming service
Is
ever.
just an incredible view.
Right?
Some great lights. Some
Like you
clear
got
water.
YouTube and Twitch are the gold standard. You got to beat that
moon
somehow.
in the
Please
background, and all
get it
brought to
done.
you by Starlink. I loved hearing that
Thank you, T-Man.
Haley's first thing coming out of the capsule was eating fried
Dragon
chicken.
SpaceX, be advised, transitioning forward link, comm will be unavailable for a little less than 5 minutes.
I can see some pixels. So there's the capsule over there.
Yeah,
So what they're gonna do here?
the Dragon capsule, and also another cool
So-
full circle moment with Anil, that is Anna Menon's husband, was the flight surgeon that greeted the Inspiration.
So what they're gonna do here? They have a giant A-frame on the back of this thing,
Anna has completed her
and
mission in space.
they're going to
just
one
so
of the
cool
crews that are on
to see that
the
full circle moment. Again,
rigid
I can't believe
inflatables
it's
right
all
here, the
happening
ribs.
same day that the Inspiration 4
attached some rigging is what it's called to Dragon, so they could pick the thing up. This A-frame, when they get Dragon in position right here, they're gonna tilt the thing back, right, and then the guy that attached all the rigging is gonna latch it, and then they're gonna pick it up and swing it right onto the ship. If you notice, there's something that looks like a pineapple slice. It's down in front of the A-frame. They set the Dragon down on that, and from there, the Dragon on that pineapple, the donut, right? It actually retracts in amidships. It goes this way, which is super cool. See it down there? It looks like pineapple slices, okay? Or a donut. Call it whatever you want. It may be an Oreo cookie. I don't know.
With the Dragon capsule. But once those straps are attached, and that
They also have many years to get where they are now. YouTube was 240p when it started. Yep. I mean, X is making progress, dude. But yeah, they got to get it up to YouTube. Got to be up to YouTube spec, man.
That circular basket-looking thing.
Guys, I will say it once. I'll say it again. I get it. Some people don't like X. Some people want to call it Twitter. Some people want to call it Zitter or Twixer. I like Twixer personally. That's fine. But dude, that site is still the best site, bar none, to get space news from. If you make Lavitz, you're absolutely right. If you curate your X feed, you can get so much good info. And avoid the For You section. Just go to the following section, follow a bunch of aerospace companies. The algorithm will do its thing. And you get awesome space news. I get a good amount of space news from there. Was it meant to land on water, or the boat with the green lights? It was meant to land on water, Briggs. Yeah. There is so yeah, exactly, Lavitz. There's so much good stuff on there if you know where to look. Just remember, the algorithm is showing you what X thinks it wants you to see. So if you click on a post that you don't like, it's going to show you posts from people that you don't like. Keep that in mind. Yeah, Erudite, it's a great mission. Following EJ helps the algorithm. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I'm like up to, I think it's like 6,400 on X. I'm pretty, like, I wish I knew what the heck to do with that, but yeah, look, it's 6,400. Not bad. It's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. Right.
Is going to
that's pretty well, that's pretty neat. You can tell it's a helicopter pad because of the way it is.
Board the crew and
that's
take
pretty
them back
neat.
to land very quickly, back to their families and friends that'll hopefully be.
It would have been quicker if the crew exited the same way they did for the spacewalk.
I love this drone shot.
You can't. There's a nose cone in the way. Saying, "What are you not paying attention?"
Our recovery operations, and it's
Dragon SpaceX comm check.
Dragon has you landed there, how many?
Okay.
Loud and clear. Forward link transition complete.
Copy that, SpaceX.
All right, we can see the recovery team continuing to pull the Dragon capsule a little bit closer. There's still one individual.
So what these guys on the left and the right side, or at the ship, the port and starboard sides of this ship, they're using taglines to pull Dragon into position for the A-frame to receive it. See, these taglines are on a pulley right there, and they're just pulling it to get it centered into the position that they need to make sure that the door is facing in the right direction for egress. Because Dragon is going to retract into the ship. It's going to go from the aft. Once they move the A-frame into position, bring the Dragon up, put it on that padding right there, pineapple slice. It's at the aft end of the ship, and they're going to retract it amidships.
Hearing, and there you can see the hydraulic lift mechanism lowering into position in preparation for lifting the Dragon capsule out of the water.
We'll see the recovery team individual who's there placing those attachment straps onto the straps that he's already basically put around the circumference of the Dragon capsule. That individual will climb up a little bit higher on the capsule and then jump off into the dark water. And here's a cool view from above that helicopter pad.
Oh,
that is where the helicopter will land and take the 4 crew members back to land. So about 5 minutes, well, at this point, 4 minutes until the capsule is lifted out of the water.
Yeah, Swoosh, that's actually pretty good. Would you say that jumping onto a mattress would be the same sort of feeling at splashdown? Yeah, the chairs that they're in are padded, and the seats are on dampers for this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's not too bad. All right, guys, attaching the final bit of rigging here. I'm not sure what this line
Dragon
is.
SpaceX, brace for capsule lift.
I've never seen that line before.
There they go.
It could just be the quality of the video. I don't know.
It's probably warm water, Kate.
Yeah, you know what? Sea creatures love warm water too, in my head.
They're not going to hurt you.
We can see the Dragon capsule now coming out of the water.
There are sharks in Florida.
Our first view of that well-loved heat shield at the bottom of the Dragon resilience
vehicle. The phenolic impregnated carbon ablator looks real good. Nice and uniform ablation
Dragon
there.
now completely out of the water and will be lowered onto that cradle there.
Dude. So so sick. All right, let it down on
Once the Dragon capsule is lowered, we will see the recovery team, who are obviously out of the way for safety reasons at this point in time. But once the capsule is translated and secured, we'll see them begin to hose it down with fresh water. As we reuse these capsules, we want to try and minimize the effects of corrosion, which of course happen due to salt water. So we will actually begin to see not only that basin where the main parachutes were located, that will get rinsed out, as well as the...
See where the side window would be? See that stripe? That stripe ain't racing stripes. That's where Plasma decided to go through Plasma wanted to go through the nacelles of between the Super Draco housings. That's why they didn't put a window there. See it's charred black? Yeah, you don't want that.
Again, what will happen next is once the Dragon capsule is fully seated in the nest, and we'll remove all the rigging from the capsule, that will then translate that capsule and move it forward to a platform.
Dragon SpaceX, welcome aboard the recovery vessel. Recovery personnel are completing final checks. Stand by for translation to the egress platform.
Yeah, watch this. The thing's gonna go that way.
SpaceX anyway.
All right, great news there. And it looks like actually the estimation for lift was we completed it 2 minutes early. So like I said, it's a pretty efficient operation. The recovery team, not only have they performed this on...
They're sniffing the thrusters here. See, they have gas masks on. They're sniffing around to make sure there's no leaks out of the rest of the Draco thrusters. And they're also putting in nozzle plugs in there, are what they're called. They're putting in a plug to make sure that no more water and stuff gets in there.
Again, these are respirators.
A pretty damn good example of scale. Like I said, Dragon's not a small capsule. This isn't a Gemini capsule or a Soyuz capsule where you're just like, you know, like ship's underway. If you look, dude, going ahead dead slow, from what I can tell.
Draco thrusters and performing additional hypergolic
all engines ahead flank
to ensure that there are no residual fumes.
That would be bad. We don't want to do that right now. Maybe later. How hot of a temperature the capsule's technically rated for? 3,600 Fahrenheit.
Once they install all of the necessary
2,000 C
Draco plugs, they will continue with a final round.
So that's all you really need it to be. It's the ablator, dude. The ablator is the biggest deal. So,
Dragon SpaceX, looking for your okay to come on board with cameras.
Hey, Notes.
SpaceX Dragon, you're welcome aboard with the cams.
All right. So, well, they said they're going to turn the cameras on back inside. So, the heat shield, that Pica heat shield that I was telling you guys about, phenolic impregnated carbon ablator, that is the biggest one. See, the interesting thing here is because you think like, oh, 3,600 degrees. I need something that can withstand 3,600 Fahrenheit or like 2,000 C or something. No. That's not how that works.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
You want a heat shield that burns at a lower temperature. So I know that doesn't mean a lot. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, what are you talking about? The heat shield is designed to burn off. When it burns off, it emits gas. Like anything that's burning, it's going to emit gas, right? When it emits gas, it pushes the plasma and all the heat out and away. It pushes it out to the sides. So you have your heat shield, which is kind of like this concave or convex shape, right? And it's outgassing because it's burning, and when it outgasses, it pushes the air out sideways. It envelops the capsule in a nice thermal medium, very similar to supersonic retropropulsion. It's the same exact idea, but the fumes the gases aren't coming from a rocket engine. They're coming from a burning heat shield, but it's the exact same idea. It's the same thing.
On their legs, and it's actually written into...
I'm qualified to talk about this. I'm an expert gas emitter. Aren't we all?
anybody inside was feeling daring, they are still required to keep all hands
Anna looks
inside
like she's having some fun.
the ride at all times.
Yeah, that is actually very important. They have been out in space for 5 days.
They got to reapply some of the thermal protection system.
You know, forcing their muscles.
The ablative heat shields, dudes. So Buster, the outside is painted in some type of ablative coating too. You could tell because it burned off. If you look at the outside of the capsule, it's not nearly as clean as it was, right? But the ablator is burnt off. You got to replace it. The heat shields, yeah, no, it's not. Pressure washing won't fix that thing. it just was exposed to like 3,600 Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's gone. You got to replace it.
Everyone seems to be.
Is there any more space than what you see here? Yeah, you'll see when they peep the cameras in. Watch.
Translated. Looks like that should be happening just in the next couple. Excuse me, the next couple minutes. As the recovery team completes their,
see what I'm talking about? Some of that probably need to apply a new coat of paint.
Harnessing connections.
We'll just say new coat of paint. I don't think the pressure washer is going to fix that.
Will
I mean, maybe.
Toward the forward end of the
There's not much info on Dragon.
Basically, in the central
reuse.
part of the
There's
vessel,
not much. Not much information about it.
SpaceX crew members are standing by.
Were those?
And as Jesse said, we'll be able to assist the astronauts
Great Scott!
if necessary to get
Were those there before?
Out of the capsule or
1.21 gigawatts! Great Scott!
And a cool view here, just looking from behind the seats. On your left-hand side is Commander Jared Isaacman, and your right-hand side is our pilot, Kid Poteet.
You can kind of get a feel for
how long would it take to cool down in the water?
Position,
not very long. Water can carry a lot of heat.
In terms of the position that it's in now and the position that the seats were in while the crew was still in space. The warning.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 17,500 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious stuff.
Amount of rotation in those seats.
When are they landing? Oh, they landed already, no.
Pretty cool to be able to see the same displays that the crew utilizes while they were in flight.
Who's watching Intel do satisfactory things?
Dragon Resilience has been successful. Well, first of all, it made an on-time splashdown in the, I guess this would be, considered in the Florida Keys, down near at Dry Tortugas, and they had a pretty quick recovery out of the water. They are now on the recovery vessel and standing by for the final preparations performed by the recovery team prior to basically opening that side hatch. Once again, this will be the first time that the Polaris Dawn crew will have fresh air.
Yep.
It'll be fresh, salty, fishy air, but fresh air nonetheless. And then you can see the Dragon capsule now being moved toward the central part of the ship. You can see there. There are some SpaceX crew members also wearing respirators once again, as we will perform the final hypergolic safety.
They're spraying it down with fresh water here to try and minimize corrosion and oxidization from the salt water.
Down with
you can see that some of that thermal protection paint, whatever they're using, is still there. Some of it is, but yeah, most of it isn't. Note that everybody still has gas masks on there. That's the vent hole for the nose cone. They put a plug on there. So there's a compartment in there, and the compartment in there has your deorbit thrusters. Dragon actually deorbits kind of backwards. They plugged the thruster, or they plugged the vent. See what I'm talking about? What they're trying to do here and why they sprayed it down is they're trying to minimize saltwater contact with the flange seals on the door. That door seal needs to be perfect to seal so you can reuse the capsule. So they spray it down to make sure they get all the salt water off of it.
For those of you that have joined just recently,
They
the
could join.
Dragon
I mean, it's possible.
capsule
but
carrying the
it's
Polaris.
gonna be hard.
Dawn
The ISS
was,
is at pretty much at the same altitude as some of the Starlink satellites, so.
At 12:36 a.m. Pacific time.
I mean, I'm not saying you can't. This thing communicated through Starlink at 700 kilometers. Starlinks are at 400 to 500, depending on the shell.
Later, pretty quick operations by the recovery teams in terms of getting over to where the capsule landed, getting the parachutes out of the water, and adhering the required straps, and ultimately lifting the Dragon capsule up onto the recovery vessel, as we just saw a few minutes ago. Right now, the recovery team outside of the Dragon capsule, like I said before, spraying down the capsule with some fresh water.
Dragon SpaceX, stand by for side hatch opening and egress.
I saw the violin video, Erudite. I couldn't play it on stream because
all right,
music.
Good news there.
Copy that, SpaceX.
All right, so everybody's got their gas masks off here, meaning that all the thrusters are plugged. And they're going to go for a hatch opening here. There it is. You've got to be kidding me.
And there you can see officially the hatch is open.
They're going to put the...
I just heard cheering from a distant part of the building. I have a feeling that came from the Dragon teams at their computers. That was pretty cool.
That guy. Hey, how you guys doing?
That is the flight surgeon doing initial medical checks, making sure that everybody is feeling good. I have a feeling by his smiling face, he's getting 4 smiling faces in return.
Yeah. Sterley, yeah, yep. That's what's going on here.
The Polaris Dawn crew has now officially taken their first breath of Earth air in the last 5 days.
We can,
Earth air is good, but I'm a fan of Perrier myself.
Some protective fixtures around the
you never
side
call me
hatch
on this wall.
in order to ensure that as the crew egresses and gets assisted as they come out
Everybody
of
likes
the
that,
capsule,
Calstar.
that they don't hurt the side hatch seals or themselves. Obviously want to protect the individuals as well.
And Blue, that'd be $8. President Scroob, salute. Hail, Scroob.
And super exciting, we can see that the crew is now prepping the Dragon capsule for the crew egress. And there is, they're going to be removing their harnesses, removing any equipment out of the way.
I love this camera.
Ensure
this is
that
awesome.
they are safe to step out of their seats and egress
Flight
the Dragon
surgeon's
capsule.
coming out.
Even the flight surgeon has to be assisted.
It's saying
tough
something.
maneuvering.
Yeah, those SpaceX jackets are fire right there. Not gonna lie to you. Oh, he's saying something.
So we'll start to see the footrests. The recovery team will come in. And here is our Polaris Dawn crew. Our first live view with the side hatch open. Fist pumps, thumbs up. I'm sure if we had audio, there would be some cheers as well.
You win.
I'm sure the crew is so excited
Jared,
to be home.
You win.
Mission complete, like they said, after 5 days of some historic
dude, there's a lot of space in there.
milestones.
That smiling face there in the side hatch taking pictures. I'm sure that is John Kraus, also known as Snap.
Snap.
He is I believe, the content director for the Polaris Dawn program. I'm sure it's an exciting moment to be able to capture both with video and photo the smiling faces of the crew members. Now we can see some SpaceX crew members, recovery team, they'll come in, they will start to remove the
Russians have flown on it,
at
Zing.
the bottoms of each seat. That will help give a little bit more moving room, or I should say area to for folks to get in and help our 4 Polaris Dawn astronauts get out a little bit easier.
And there's a footrest being removed there, as Kate mentioned.
Yeah, if you guys didn't hear that, they're removing the footrests from the seats, so it makes egressing in these spacesuits, getting out in these spacesuits a little easier.
They are custom sized for each astronaut, as well as the armrests. So each armrest and footrest basically
there's no
comes
fuel cells
in like
on board,
a
Mutter.
small, medium, or large
power.
option.
It's solar panels. There ain't no fuel cells on Dragon. It's not enough. There's not enough space. It ain't no space shuttle, man.
Foot length and the arm length of each individual, they get their appropriate
when do they get to
size
remove
for
their suits?
Their body measurements.
So,
yeah, I mean,
what's going to happen here? They have the suits on just in case of capsule depressurization during reentry. The Russians tried that once in 1969. Didn't end well. So what they're going to do is they're going to egress out of the capsule. Yeah, Soyuz 11. Not great. Not great. Heart goes out to those guys. Anyway, what they're going to do is they're going to get out. They're going to be in their suits. They're going to get out and down the kind of hallway that way. Midship is a private medical conference. They're going to meet with their doctors, and then that's probably when they'll take off their suits. We don't get to see that.
Get out. Now it seems as though the first person
to
come out will be Anna Menon.
She's on the ground.
Who is on the far right side as we are looking at it. She is in seat 4. Yeah. So Anna is now making her way with this assisted egress.
There goes Anna. Where's the washroom? It's literally next to it, Skater. Believe it or not, yeah. They have the medical area, and then the toilet. The head's right next to it. And it is a head. You're on a ship, remember.
Mission specialist Anna Menon.
Yeah, baby. That's awesome.
Fellow SpaceXer.
Yes.
So happy.
Which camera to point at? I don't know. That's
so excited.
Sweet, dude.
Welcome back
she's
to
flashing
Earth,
the horns.
Anna.
She's flashing the horns. That's rad. Me? Yes, you. No, not you. Not you. You. Not you, though. No, screw you. What does the 1.21 gigawatts mean? No.
We heard Haley Arsenault.
1.21 gigawatts is a reference to Back to the Future. It's a movie from the 80s. If you're younger, it's an awesome movie. Seriously, fantastic flick. One of the best movies ever made. It's great. Watch it. I'm not going, oh my God, you've never seen that. Just watch Back to the Future if you haven't seen it. It's a reference to it.
Now getting out of her seat. She and Anna had the 2 window seats.
By the way, Trevor doesn't know what the 1.21 gigawatts is either.
SpaceX team assisting her to make sure that she doesn't hit the side hatch in any way.
So much excitement.
Sarah's
Our
out.
second SpaceXer to fly in space. Mission specialist Sarah Gillis back on Earth.
Hey, all right. You watch rocket launches instead of movies? Mark, that's fair. That's fair. Right on. Back to the Future's dope, though. Seriously. It's like, Park, no hype, no exaggeration. Back to the Future's amazing. It's an awesome flick. If you have some time for movies between all these rocket launches. I know SpaceX is making it difficult, keeping us all up at 4:30 in the frickin' morning on a Sunday morning. You know, Poteet's out. Kid Poteet. But seriously, give it a shot. It's a fantastic flick. I would not steer you wrong from one space nutcase to another.
I think that move should be added to the required choreography for human spaceflight missions. You know, we have the astronaut lean back when they approach their rocket on launch day.
They have a barista job
the
calling your
kid
name.
shuffle,
I
think, should
there
be
you go.
The next one for
I'd do it. I'm not gonna lie
post-egress.
to you. I'd do it. I worked in a restaurant. I'll get it done. It'll be the best coffee you've ever had.
We heard Jared get one last call out on the loops before egressing himself.
How much does a ticket to outer space cost? We don't know. If you have to ask, you probably can't afford it.
And the final Polaris Dawn crew member egressing Dragon Resilience, Commander Jared
right there.
Isaacman.
That's awesome.
Our second frequent flyer in Dragon, completing his second mission.
That's crazy, dude.
In space.
For a second, I thought.
So good, man.
For a second, I thought he was saying goodbye to his spacecraft, but it turns out he was saying goodbye to the people still in there assisting him with his egress. So incredible to see. What a day. What a week.
What a week.
And now with our Polaris Dawn crew safely back home on Earth and getting checked out by our medical team, what an incredible and exciting mission this has been. Next up, the crew will actually catch a helicopter flight back to shore where they will rejoin their families.
Over the 5-day mission, Polaris Dawn set records and marked a few firsts that are critical to SpaceX's long-term plans for making humanity a multiplanetary species. After lifting off on Tuesday, September 10th at 5:23 a.m. Eastern Time from Launch Complex 39A at the Kennedy Space Center, Dragon climbed to an apogee of just over 1,408 kilometers, flying further than any Dragon to date and traveling further from Earth than any humans since the end of the Apollo program. Then on September 12th, SpaceX teams and the Polaris Dawn crew successfully conducted the first spacewalk from Dragon, testing our new in-house developed EVA suits and procedures that will be critical for building bases and cities on the Moon and Mars.
Yeah, and it was so cool to watch that. The crew also performed a number of science and research experiments while in orbit, including 36 research studies and experiments designed to advance both human health on Earth and during long-duration spaceflight. And over the course of the mission, the crew demonstrated Starlink's power to transform the way we communicate with spacecraft and people in low Earth orbit, including that incredible music moment, which I've watched many times and will continue to watch even more. Now, our future in space is definitely bright, and it's really exciting to think about where we will be in the not-too-distant future.
It's going to be sweet.
With all of that, thank you so much for joining us tonight and all week. As always, be sure to check x.com/SpaceX for updates. I'm Kate Tice.
And I'm Jesse Anderson. Thank you to everyone for being with us this week for the Polaris Dawn mission, and have an incredible night.
Night, it's 4:30 in the morning. The music that they were talking about was Sarah Gillis had a violin. And she played the violin up on orbit, and she played Rey's theme from Star Wars. Star Wars. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. All right. Time to stay up for Baku. Oh yeah, that's happening pretty quick, right? Time for KSP. Hey, it's a good song for what it's worth. It's just the problem is that it's not Star Wars, new Star Wars. Okay, bye. See you. Good morning. When the hell is Baku happening? I'm gonna go back to sleep. McLaren 1-2 in Baku. Charles Legurks. Forza Ferrari. Charles is gonna win that race. Yep. Choritos Ligurks. The Italian national anthem sounds like a pizza commercial. It's the best anthem. Pizza commercial. Yeah. You guys know how you shouldn't go and look up who the founder of Volkswagen is? Pizza, no, it's a pizza commercial. And on that bombshell, oh damn. Yeah, Zing, I'm with you on that one. Race starts in 2 hours 30 minutes. Yeah, nah, too soon. You just had to mention it. I'm sorry. Anyway, no, bad EJ. Ow! Stop hitting me. Stop. All right. Anyway, so, you made me sad. I know. I haven't watched it. I don't wanna. I'm not even kidding. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't want to watch it. EJ gonna sleep through a Ferrari 1-2. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, dude. I need a roll-up newspaper. Go to bed. No, Zing, you go to bed. No, seriously, guys, I'm going back to sleep. Sunday is usually my detox day. That's my get away from the internet day. And I've already broken that rule today, but I'll break it for spaceflight, for human spaceflight, absolutely. So, let's see. Now that Polaris Dawn is completed, what's on the range here? Let's see what we got. Oh, great. Oh, great. Oh, great. IGS Radar 8 is a defense satellite for Japan. That's probably not going to be streamed. We have Galileo FOC, FM26, and FM32 on Monday at 7. That's good. When workers and resources. And we have Crew 9 on the 24th. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Jens, I'll play. There's a watch link for it already. Oh, balls. I can't. You're gonna make me. All right. Okay. Oh, geez, Rick. It's not on Sunday. It's on Monday, technically. So. All right. I'm going to bed. Shoot, you're right. Like next week, next year, we'll be playing it, Jens, this week. It's going to be a lot of workers and a lot of satisfactory this week. I'm sorry, guys. With workers, yeah, we probably gonna alternate. Yeah, worker satisfactory, something like that this week. Dang, I missed it all. Didn't know we were on. Yeah, they did. Polaris Dawn did come home. Yep. Thanks for the coverage. Hey, thanks for the bits, Zing. I appreciate it. Hey guys, just got here for the start of the stream. What are we playing today? We are playing Workers and Satisfactory on Monday, Italics. It's not Monday, man. It's not Monday, man. It's Sunday. Damn it. Jeff, thanks for the bits. Thanks for your diligence of transmissions. I'm good at transmissions. Wait. Yes. No. Yeah. It's Monday somewhere. Is it, though? No glasses and no scruff on the face? Sorry, man. I made a really good hamburger today. I'm not gonna lie, and my beard was getting in the way of me consuming a very good burger.
Discovery,
So
go and throttle up.
I was starting to get annoyed. I'm like, all right, it's too long. Yeah. Sorry, it got in the way of food, so it had to go. I really, really wish that was like a fake story to make you laugh, but that's pretty much how that went down. It's really not. Source, I'm in New Zealand. Thank you, Rare Turkey. Thank you. Patos, hey, tier 1 6 months in advance. Whoa! That's huge, man. Right on. Okay, guys, I will see you. I'll try to be here for the IGS Radar 8 mission. I'll try. We'll try. But I'm going back to sleep. I will see you guys then. If not, I'll see you on Monday. We'll probably start with workers, and then worker space news, probably satisfactory. Yeah, worker space news satisfactory is probably how that stream's gonna go. Yeah. So, yeah. Legit hair getting in the way of food is the worst. Dude, serious, the beard's cool. It looks awesome, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't look better with a beard, right? Like, clean shaven is not too bad. It's okay. I look younger, if that's good. But it eventually just gets to be annoying, and then I usually get rid of it. Clean shaven just feels good, right? Yeah, right? It's nice. It's nice. Why not just trim it short? Because I get annoyed and I want to switch it up. That's simple. You look younger until you take off the hat. Thanks. Thanks for that one. Remind me to, like, kick you in the junk next time I see you. Like, just square in the junk. Like, as hard as I can. And I'm not talking like foot to the crotch, out, like, kick through. I'm talking about, like, solid shin. Right up in there. Yep. Yeah. Remember, I'm going to do that next time. Yeah, we'll do that next time. Like, shin to the gonads. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Bye. No, seriously. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the Polaris Dawn coverage. And I'll see you guys all on Monday. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night. You're going to break your shin. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Good night, everybody. Get some sleep or stay up for Formula 1. I don't know. Do whatever. Just don't do it here. Shin that man. See you guys. Have a good night. You hang up first. No, you hang up first. You can't kick me out? All right, fine. Just stay here. Whatever. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. All right. All right. Seriously. Yeah, I'm really going to go this time. Just kidding.